So I just ran across a quote that I really believe brings everything that I've been going through these last 2 weeks into full scope, I should say. A gentleman that was speaking on a podcast was talking about the story of David and how the story of David when he was anointed king, and essentially how he was out in the field when his brothers were being paraded in front of the elders and the leaders of the time, because they knew that Jesse, his father, one of his sons were going to be anointed. And so that they were basically having a parade where they were parading his sons in front of the elders and the leaders to find out which one it would be. And David was out in the field. And so after each one of the brothers sons got done being paraded, they're like, well, is there any more? And he was like, well, I have one more. He's out in the field with the sheep. And so the gentleman that was speaking on the podcast said that the guy that was ministering, Tommy Nelson, the minister who was bringing forth the word, said that what God is looking for in a man is a man who cares for the sheep more than the parade. And so it's like the clouds opened up at that point. Because on my way home, I was visiting my parents. I heard the word like plucking, pruning, positioning. And that really just summed it up, because that's exactly what I believe God is doing. And I believe if you are on this leadership journey, and again, I believe, when we talk about leadership, we want to talk about it in just a sense where we're doing it at a job or something like that in that vein. But what I'm really coming to understand is like how much of this leadership journey is really about being a good representation of who Christ is in our everyday lives, and being servant leaders in our everyday lives. And what God really needs from his people. And because we are leaders. We are leaders. And so that quote really stuck out to me, because I'm like, that's everything he's trying to ensure that is pruned out of me. And I would like to say that, I don't care about the parade. I don't care about the accolade. I don't care about the acclaim. I don't care about the pat on the back. I don't care about the affirmation. But I think any normal person would. But this is not a normal time. And what God needs from me is to be able to just do and move without second guessing the outcome, because things look very different. And having to be steady in the storm, having to be steadfast in a emotional famine, drought, because where I'm only depending on him, I'm only leaning on him, because I'll be honest, there was I don't think it's new for anybody who's been on this channel, but I am in the dating scene, whatever, but met somebody that seemed like they had potential. But after conversation, just found out that we were not aligned, and, I'm not in a season to play games. So of course, just as soon as I find out we're not aligned, that's something that, you have to let go of. And then I found myself having, questioning myself if that was the right move, because I'm in a place, in a space where there are parts of me that are crying out for affirmation. And so there is something very appealing about having affirmation from anything, getting affirmation from anywhere or anyone or anything, rather than just having to be steadfast and being like, I don't have the signs and signals that I need that are telling me that you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track. So let me try to reach for something. And that's just an old trigger. That's an old wound. So in this process, there are old wounds that are trying to open back up. There are old triggers that are happening, I should say, for wounds that I've dealt with. And so being triggered in that way made me think well, maybe if I kept this person around, it would fill some type of void. But no, really, it's just because they would have been affirming in some type of way, and because I'm not getting it in any other capacity. And that's wrong. And that's exactly what God is pruning out of me. To allow myself to feel the uncertainty, the very physical, tangible feeling of just being in this space. Because I've been plucked out of a place of familiarity, and now I'm in a place of pruning. So everything that no longer serves me has to go. Things that are not going to serve the version that I need to be have to go. And I have to be willing to let it go. And the longer I try to hold on to it, it's just going to be more painful. And it can feel very isolating, but it doesn't have to be. But I also know that it can be isolating if I choose not to lean into this time with God. But I also know it feels very much like it is me and God. But all of this to be positioned, because all of it is for a reason. Because he is after a heart that is after sheep. That is what matters. His people. His people. Not the glitz, the glam, the party, the fashion. Nothing that comes with a platform. Nothing that comes with, notoriety or recognition. None of that is what this is about. And even the smallest parts, because God sees our heart. He knows every inch of who we are. And even if I don't want to say lie is not the word, but even if we are deceived in the sense that oh, no, I don't, that's not me, Lord. He knows. So I praise God that he is allowing me to go through this stripping away. And I mean, everything has been stripped away. Where it just feels raw. But in this rawness, it's like there's no place to hide. And so I give God glory for that. I give him glory for that, because my prayer is to have a genuine heart after his people, for his people, and to serve his people well. And I don't want to be someone who gets to a place of compromise. So whatever that looks like right now on the front end, to ensure that down the road, when it no longer looks like this, that I can continue to be integral, honest, and serve how God intends me to serve and show up, then I accept that process. I accept this pruning. So I'm going to leave it there. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.